Hey YouTube, it's me again, EA, with some more quarantine love. And today's love comes by way of teaching tip number 4, teaching mastery. Teaching something that you have mastered. Not only will it help your children, but it'll build your momentum too. In school, the most effective teachers are the ones who have confidence. And once your confidence is up, children believe in you just as much as they believe in themselves, and you can be a very positive influence. I know if you're at home, sometimes you get a little frustrated or you think you may not be able to successfully do something. So this is a time to take a break from maybe subject matter and go into something that you already know how to do well. In school, we basically teach the subject areas: math, reading, science, social studies, etc. But at home is an area that's often neglected because of the hustles and bustles of this society. Even with me and my children, it's kind of hard to get some things in. But now that we are on this break, we can take advantage of this time to teach children something from home that is good for them. For example, you can teach your children the ins and outs of your job. No matter what job you have, you can kind of teach them how the job goes, give them some background knowledge, and later on it'll benefit them by way of choices in what it is that they want to do. You can take time out now and teach about financial literacy and investing. I know there are a couple of people on YouTube that offer classes for finance, even for children, like Dr. Boyce Watkins. He does financial literacy. You can give your children a heads up on how to be self-sufficient when they get older, or they may be, at the finish line, getting ready to graduate. You want to drop that information on them. You could teach lessons like respect. Teach them how you grew up when you were little, because it seems like, especially in the African American community, some of our children are moving away from that. So now is the time to move them back in line with that. You can teach them lessons. You can teach them how hard work pays off. You can do manhood and womanhood training. You can teach them about health and nutrition, which is another area for us that's that's really important, because in this COVID-19 trial, many of us are losing our lives at a higher rate than everyone else. So maybe we want to take a look at the food that we're eating and talk it over with our children, and see where we fare on the nutrition scale. You can, of course, YouTube nutrition and foods that are good for you to eat. Just because food is good to you, it doesn't mean that it's good for you. And some foods that are good for you, are not necessarily good for you. So one of mine is spinach. Spinach like coagulates my blood. So once I learned that, I had to let it go, and I was a real spinach fan. But after I started studying nutrition and diet, I kind of had to let it go. So that will be a good one. Some of you guys do hair and nails. You're estheticians. You know how to wash a good face and make somebody feel good. Some of you guys know how to give awesome massages. So teach your children that. If you're a guy, you fix on cars, you do yard work, you do any kind of construction. Let's start exposing our children to some of those great skills that they may need to have later on down the line. I know one thing that I found in teaching is that we always wait for the right time for the one thing that we want to do, but it's more beneficial when we equip ourselves with multiple skills. You may not even use them, but it's a good thing to have them. During this time, we can teach our children how to pray and the benefits of prayer. Conflict resolution. Conflict resolution is another big one for us, because our children most of the time have a one way to solve problems. Like if you go off on me, I'm gonna go off on you. If you hit me, I'm gonna hit you. But there are more solutions. So, do a little research on conflict resolution and teach those babies how to use their brains, and then they don't have to fight. Self-care is a good one. How to act at home and abroad. I'm looking at my notes. You can teach family value systems like the Nguzu Saba or Kwanzaa, the principles of Kwanzaa, which will take you a long ways in our culture. These are some of the things that we need to know that could benefit us as a people. How to clean, how to cook, how to sew. Computer technology. Computer technology is a big one because actually these children are technology savvy and they could actually teach you what to do. So, kind of control that dynamic a little bit. I know our children are on those games and computers and whatnot, and sometimes we don't have the time to really watch them like we should. So this is a time that you can just give them a project to do or give them an assignment where they can come back and teach you. And I'm especially talking to the African American community because we need to start closing the gaps. But this message is for anyone who's listening. And I want to end with teaching about your family legacies. Many of us have people who came before us in our families who were great and who did great things. So, use them as a model. Model yourself after them. I'm very fortunate that Bass Reeves is my fourth uncle, going up 4 generations. And I learned this a few years back. Well, they told us when we were little, but I was a child and I didn't make it. It didn't matter until it mattered. But I was fortunate, so now I try to teach my children all about Uncle Bass, who is a great man. If you don't know about Bass Reeves, go and look him up because he is definitely a role model that we need in our lives, and this is for anybody. And again, tip number 4, mastery. Teach them something that you know. It doesn't matter, what it is. It could be in sports. It could be in games. It could be in whatever. Just if you know it, make sure you share it with your children. Build those skills. Build that human potential. Again, I want to thank you for listening to me. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and share the videos. Leave a comment below. Tell me how I'm doing and have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to me. Peace.